comprehensive example. It's in the page out discussion area. So D&J Company issued the following bonds on January 1, X1. Maturity amount of bonds is $100,000. So we are issuing today, January 1. Please imagine timeline. Maturity date is exactly 5 years from today. So that can be January 1, X6. Okay? January 1, X6 is same as December 31, X5. So you can, if you like, you can treat it as January 1. Technically, January 1, X6 is actually you are paying off. So that's the debit bonds payable, credit cash. Remember, you are the one who had the debit cash 5 years ago. Inception of the bond, at the time of inception, you're getting what? Debit cash. Is that the reason why you're issuing bonds for? Capital raising instead of stock, chapter 13 and 14. Instead of issuing equity instrument, we are issuing debt instrument called bonds, not loans. I'm going to talk about that. What's the difference between, $100,000 from Bank of America versus $100,000 from where? Where's this coming from physically? Not at one place. One place you can say that New York Bonds Exchange, that's the capital market. But they are just a middleman. They are just a market. But actually, where's it coming from?
Investors.
Right, who are they? Do you know their names, their faces? Where do they live? It could be South Africa they are living in, right? New York stock market, bonds market happens to be just a market connecting between bond issuer and bond holder. They are just a middleman. They take the commission. Anyway, so $100,000, 5 years, stated interest rate, also known as contract rate. Contract between two. Issuing corporation and investor. Because as an investor, you have to know, before you invest your hard-earned money, you have to know what's in for you, right? Even when you deposit to the bank, if you have $100,000 then, you deposit to the bank for 5 years. What's your first question to the Bank of America? Yeah, what's my return? If they say zero return, that's the same as put your $100,000 cash under your mattresses. It's the same earning, am I right? So then, forget it. Well, they might say it's safer than your mattress. But you still have to know some sort of return, even if it's 1%. Right? So that's the contract between bond issuer and bond holder. Clear? All right. Now, interest payment, this happens to be annual interest payment, but in real life, in the bond market, most common one is every 6 months. 6 months. If it's a 6 months, you have to divide it by 2. 6%, 6%. But anyway, I don't want to sidetrack with other concept. I just focus on this. And these are just given to you for the convenience. These coming from what? Time value table. Time value table. Just so if I put this in a diagram, again, what do I like? I like timeline, right? I recommend everybody that's timeline. Is that 5 years? Who are you? Oh, you have to change the screen. So here's the timeline, 5 years. Who are you? We are doing this from the perspective of the corporation, not from the investors. Right? So we are issuing bonds. How much maturity? $100,000. When do I have to pay back? 5 years from today, right? January 1, X6, right? January 1, X6, because today is January 1, X1, 5 years from today. That's hard cash. You have to give $100,000 cash back to who? Investors. Right? And how much money you are getting today? Oh, what if I say you're getting $100,000 from that investor called Myung? Myung is giving me $100,000, and I tell Myung, I promise to trust me. I'm gonna give you back $100,000 5 years from today. Please do not call me. Don't send me email. And Myung's gonna say, "Are you out of mind or how?" Right? And then Myung said, "Well, who are you? Are you my best friend or something?" Even if best friend, you don't do that, right? I mean, we talked about Bank of America. You have to earn some return, right? Otherwise, there's no reason. So it's not $100,000. It's $100,000.
No.
If it's $100,000, you have to give something to the investor. So what's the contract says in this case? Contract, state rate contract, 12% annually. So what's the amount? Myung, how much? Yearly? 12,000, very good. Every year? Yes. And principal back. Then you can get $100,000. Because the investor is happy because he or she is getting right, some return. So this $12,000 to you, corporation, is called periodic interest payment, right? Right, what's the definition of interest? Econ professor will tell you that's the cost of borrowing other people's money, OPM. Interest payment. Is this a real cash? Yeah, you better pay in cash, not the monopoly money. Then 100,000. This looks fine, right? In fact, you can do this. You can prove this to this is the pricing of the bond. Pricing of bond is already present value because when are you issuing? Please answer me.
Today.
Today. Present value. Today. Present. But is it $100,000? Well, it is $100,000 if you actually prove to yourself. So I'm gonna do it now. All right. So I'm doing present value table. You go to present value table at home because I don't have time for you to looking. Of single sum at 12% is, I have written down here, 0.56743, and present value annuity at 12%.
For 5 years?
Yeah, for 5 years. N equal 5. Very good. N equal 5. At 12%, the same as the contractual rate. That is, I have written down here 3.60478. So single sum, one time, 100,000, so multiply by, do I have enough space on the right? Okay, so 100,000. So that would be $56,743, right? You can multiply $100,000, right? And then this one multiply by what? Periodic interest payment, annuity, 12,000. So you're adding these two numbers. So adding these two numbers, anybody quickly can add that number? This one I already did that, 56,743. I ran out of space on the right hand side. So 56,743. The 12,000 multiplied by 3.60. That comes out. Anybody? I have written down here $43,257. So this number plus this number equal to
100,000.
100,000. Oh, 100,000.